It's 9:10 here with SAfm 104 to 107, South Africa's news and information leader. We kick our way into 3 hours of entertainment of the lighter stuff at the end of a rough week. Now, you know, it's been a rough week, and I'm sure many of us are looking at ourselves and looking at our country and thinking, how do we get on top of all of this? And then we start to look at the little things that are happening in our lives, and we feel enormous gratitude and enormous joy at some of the things that have happened to us. And it could be small things. It could be the fact that you got a job or even a new job, that you finally managed to get a seat on a train in time to go to someone's wedding. You know, anything is possible to make you feel this momentary feeling of gratitude and joy. So, now there's something called the World Gratitude Map, where you can post a red dot on the map and show the world that you feel happy. On the line with us is Jacqueline Lewis. Jacqueline, where am I actually calling you in the States today?
I'm in Philadelphia, Michelle, and good morning.
And I suspect it's a very good morning, early morning for you.
Well, it's early, but I'm an early bird, so it's all good.
How much of an early bird? You have to tell us. What's the time with you right now?
Well, it is 2:15 in the morning.
So it's actually a late night. It's not even an early morning. It's a late night.
Exactly.
Jacqueline, tell us a little bit about the World Gratitude Map.
Well, as you said, it's quite simply an online map filled with red dots, each of which represents a moment where someone around the world had a great moment, a burst of bliss, or just a feeling of happiness, and then took the time to upload it.
I understand you came up with the idea, it's almost a dedication to your mother.
Oh, yes. The genesis, well, it was an outgrowth of some work that we had done about, my partner and I have a great interest in resilience, the science of bouncing back. Anyone can be happy. We all want to be happy, Michelle. But life does throw us curveballs and things happen. And better than happiness, I think, is to strive for this resilience, the ability to be strong and to get back up, and the grit. And my mama was the kind of person that no matter what was happening to her, she was happy. When she was younger, she was a cheerleader, so I think it came naturally to her to focus on the bright side. But I remember once we were down in New Orleans, and I was kind of laughing about it and saying to my friend Krebs, you know, Krebs, my mama is such a fool because she's had a hard life, a difficult life, and in some ways a tragic life. But if you ask her, she thinks she's had a good life. And David just looked at me and he laughed and he said, Jackie, if your mama thinks she's had a good life, she has had a good life. And that really struck me, Michelle, this idea. Like, of course she has. Who am I to tell another person that they haven't? But I was so inspired and taken by this ability of hers to see the good in anything. And I'll tell you a great example of that. A few years ago, Mom got pancreatic cancer. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that particular illness, but it's very serious. They usually catch it late, and in this case, they'll say, you know, you have just 2 weeks to live. Comes out of a clear blue sky. No one's prepared for that. So we're all solicitous and heartbroken and don't know quite what to do. And my mom just says, in her way, oh, Jackie, don't make a fuss. Just tell everyone, do something nice for somebody else, and then just tell me about it, and that'll make me feel better. So I reached out to a few people I knew and, you know, told them this, and they told some other people. Well, Michelle, before we knew it, people were doing these good deeds in honor of my mama. We call her Joni from Pringle. And they were doing them everywhere, all over the states, all 50 states, different countries. Suddenly, all the continents, 4 continents, 5, Asia, Africa, Europe, Antarctica. By the time my mom died, there had been good deeds done in her honor the whole world over on every continent. And she didn't die in 2 weeks, Michelle. She lived for 20 months, outperforming the prognosis by any stretch of the imagination. And I believe it was because these good deeds kept her going, this ability to see the good in the world. And that was the genesis of the map.
Jackie, you mentioned this concept of good deeds, and I did read some of the research around what you've been doing in that. This idea that a good deed doesn't need to be something massive, but could be a really small thing, maybe a kind word to someone who is washing your car or guarding your car. It's really about the small things.
Exactly. Oh, Michelle, I couldn't have said it better myself. I think that once we start looking at these small, here in the States we call them random acts of kindness, or once we start looking at these small good deeds that we can do on any given day and that are done for us, and it's not even a matter of doing them necessarily, because I think they're already happening there. Someone today is already doing something nice for you. Maybe someone brought in cookies at work, or maybe your husband gave you an extra 5 minutes of time. But the more we notice them, the more we're enriching our life. And it's not just a matter of feel good. The research shows that there's a physiological benefit of looking at the good, of optimism, of these small acts. It lowers our blood pressure. It decreases stress. It bolsters our immune system. It reduces our risk of stroke. So being good isn't just feeling good. It's actually good for us, and it's contagious.
Jackie,
one of the things, so that's why we're trying to pass it on. Let me tell you two more things about the map, Michelle. One, the actual technology behind it developed about 5 years ago. It's a company called Ushahidi, and it's free software born of there were some elections in Kenya, and you all may have heard of it, and they were disputed and contentious, and there was violence and allegations of fraud around it. So afterwards, Ushahidi they took Google Maps, and they took all the text and the crowdsourcing and the emails that people had told them of things happening, and they plugged them onto the map so they can start getting a pattern of the bad things that had happened. And since then, they've developed this software, and other people use it for social activism in different ways. But so my partner said, look, there's these maps, and there's all these dots showing bad things that happened. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could leverage this same technology to show the good? Because you know how it is, Michelle, and I love your show because it's this focus on the positive that we all need. Everyone's tired. Everyone's anxious. Some days you turn on the news and you just want to turn it right off. You just can't bear it. But with this map, this idea that you can see there are good things happening every day, let's keep our eyes on all that's good and beautiful and possible in the world. And the stories we tell create the person that we become. So if we could tell these stories of goodness and compassion and resilience, it's going to create our own lives.
Jackie, what is the technology of it? If I want to go and put a little red dot in the bottom of Africa, in the South Africa section of the World Gratitude Map.
Exactly.
How do I go and do that?
How do you do it? Well, you can come to our website, which is gratitude.crowdmap.com, and there's a little report that you could fill out. There's an email address that gratitude@myresilience.net. It's listed on the site, and you could just shoot me an email. Or you can even, if you Twitter, anything with the hashtag GratMap, gratitude, or grateful will automatically feed into it. So it's very, very, very simple. And you needn't be a novelist. It could be a simple, we use our email every day. If once you have the email address, Michelle, you just say grateful because my ducks learned to fly, my child made his bed, my husband was less of an idiot than usual. Could be small things.
Jacqueline Lewis, thank you so much for joining us. I have to say that's a nice one. If you want to go onto the map, you just go to gratitude.crowdmap.com. And I suppose that does raise the question is, what are you grateful for today? South Africans must be the most resilient people that we know. We certainly do manage to bounce back in extraordinary ways. But that would be the question to you. What are you grateful for today? And if you want to SMS us, you can do so on 34701, or give us a call. We love hearing your voice on 0891 104 207. And you can use those two numbers as well if you'd like to contact us with a question for Nico, our petrol head, who of course comes up at around 20 to 10 here on The Lifestyle Show. If you want to follow us on Twitter, super easy, at SAFM Lifestyle.